Hello everyone, welcome back to Tuition Masters, and today we are here with another session for grade 10 CBSE, that is our English midterm revision. And today we are going to discuss some very important questions, alright, from four chapters of your books, First Flight and Footprints Without Feet. Right. So today we're going to discuss the most important questions from them. All right. Now I have made already detailed explanation videos of all the chapters of these four chapters which I'm going to discuss with you. So as I know the midterms are very near, so let's start with our English revision. So, what are we going to discuss? Four chapters: Letter to God, Dust of Snow, Fire and Ice, and Triumph of Surgery. I'm going to attach all these links in the I above, the I section, which is that you can see on the screen. So there I'll attach the links of all the detailed video for these chapters. Okay, Letter to God, Dust of Snow, Fire, Ice. It is from already from your uh, a first flight, and other one is from other is tramp of surgery from the supplementary. Okay, so make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you didn't do it till now. So let's start with the first one, Letter to God. So as I know about a Letter to God, a quick summary, we know that this chapter talks about a farmer named as Lencho. Okay, he's a farmer, and then he due to hail and hail, his cornfield had been destroyed. So he was in a need of 100 pesos, correct? He was in need of 100 pesos. So he wrote a letter to God for demanding the money. After that, when he gave it to in the post office, so the postmaster and the colleagues, they were quite surprised by such great faith in God. So they somehow arranged and gave the amount of 75 pesos to him. Okay. And when he got, he became quite angry. He thought that the people in the post office were a bunch of crooks and they took all the money. God gave him 100 only, but they took the remaining money and he got only 75. So that is all about the story, Letter to God. So we are going to discuss the extract based questions, long and short answers. All right. So let's start with the extract based question. So the extract is: with a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers draped in a curtain of rain. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves to rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. So this is the extract given from a textbook, right? Now, based on that, we have four questions. Okay, so what with this tells, the paragraph is telling that in this ripe corn, first the rain come, then wind started to come, and then hailstones were falling. Correct. Now, why was Lencho satisfied? Why was he satisfied? Because he thought that there is rainfall. Correct. He expected a rainfall and then a rainfall appeared. So he expected this is a rainfall. Now my field the harvest will be very good. So that is why he was satisfied. I'm going to show you the detailed answers. Okay. What does he compare the raindrops to? He is comparing the raindrops to the coins. Okay, as if the coins are falling from the sky. What do the frozen pearls refer to, right? Frozen pearls as in the hailstones and silver coins. Okay. Trace a word in the passage which means covered with. Covered means is nothing but draped. Draped is the word which means as covered with. Alright. So here you see Lencho was satisfied because his field got good rain. He compared them to the coins. The raindrops were compared to the coins. Then frozen pearls were referring to the hailstones. And covered means, in the paragraph it means draped. Alright. Now let's see one more question. How did the rain change? What happened to Lencho's field? Now what happened was, in the beginning there was a quite satisfied rain. But after that the rain became turned into hailstones and destroyed the whole field, right? So how shall we start the answer? Let us understand that. So how will we start is, the rain began on a pleasant note. So yes, when the rain started, what happened was, it was quite on a pleasant note. It was raining nicely, right? Pleasantly and calmly. But the air was fresh and sweet also. Then what happened suddenly? After that fresh, sweet, cold breeze, suddenly a strong wind came. Suddenly, strong wind came and began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. Now, what happened is, when the strong wind started, it started to blow off everything, and then, along with the rain, the hailstones also, like the ice kind of structure, the hails also starting to, it was hailstones, okay, and they started to fall, and it did not pass quickly, means it was not over quickly, and approximately for an hour the hail rained on the field and the corn was totally destroyed. Okay, the cornfield was totally destroyed. Okay, so basically what happened was the rain changed into the hailstones, okay, and Lencho's field, it was totally destructed and destroyed. Okay, next question: who did Lencho write a letter? What did he ask for? So who did Lencho write a letter? Lencho wrote a letter to God, as the chapter says, a letter to God. So yes, Lencho wrote a letter to God, isn't it? And what did he ask? As his fields were, his fields got destructed by the hailstones, correct? So what did he say? He said that I want 100 pesos, correct? Pesos are nothing but a currency over there. So he demanded for 100 pesos so that he can again sow his field, and he can survive his life until the new crops come. So that's why he demanded God to give him 100 pesos. Okay, now a long question: the postmaster represents such people who still believe in helping others. Write a character sketch of the postmaster pointing out his good qualities. Now, in this story, postmaster represents a very, sympathetic person. As in, he was the one who could he could help him, isn't it? Now, when he saw the letter written by Lencho, so what did he do? He thought that okay, he wants some help, and he tried from his own salary and from other colleagues and friends. He tried to gather 75 pesos at least, right? So he was quite helping person. So here, let's see. The postmaster of the story is kind, generous, helpful, amiable, and God-fearing man. Now, as per the, if I want to give adjectives to the postmaster, he was kind, generous, helpful, amiable. Amiable as in he was friendly, right? He was friendly. So we call it as amiable, and God fearing man. God fearing as in he was religious. Now, when he received the letter from Lencho, which was written to God, okay, directly to God and demanding for 100 pesos, he could sow so that he could sow his fields again, right? So the postmaster did not want to shake the writer's faith in the Almighty, Almighty as in the God, and thus, out of virtuous intentions, decided to collect money for an act of charity. He also signed the letter in the name of God to conceal his identity, as he wanted Lencho to think it was actually a reply from God. Okay, so what happened was, the when the postmaster saw, he could just have ignored it, right? But what he did, he replied it. Why? Because he did not want to shake the faith of Lencho in God, right? If it would, he wouldn't give the money. So the Lenche would think, right, what is this, my God didn't even reply me, there's no use of have believing in God, he won't help anyone. So his faith would be shaken up. So that's why, with good intentions, he decided to collect money and make it as an act of charity, as an act of kindness. And then he even signed a letter in the name of God to conceal his identity, as in hide his identity, and tell that Lencho that it was directly from God. So this shows that he was a very good man at heart. Okay, so this was from the chapter Letter to God. Now going towards the two most important poems, that is Dust of Snow and Fire and Ice. We all know it's written by whom? Both the poems are written by Robert Frost, isn't it? So what we are going to do is that we are going to do both the poems, because they are enjambment poems, right? They're just a very very short, one sentence, two sentence poem it is, right? So that's why we are quickly going to do both questions from both of them. All right. So a Dust of Snow, I'll quick introduction. What happened was, when the poet was going through, his mood was quite ruined. It was not good. When he stood below a hemlock tree, and there was snow filled with it. A crow came, he shook the tree, and the snow fell on him, and he got a good mood. That is Dust of Snow. And based on that, I've given a very good explanation along with all the poetic devices in my detailed session. I'm surely going to attach it in the I section. Okay, now fire and ice. Fire and Ice, Robert Frost tells about the end of the earth. How will the world end? Fire and Ice, he says that some people say that world will end in fire. Some say it will end in ice. Correct. Now, Fire and Ice, it doesn't compare the exactly fire exactly as no. It compares the qualities of human beings like greediness, avarice, and all those things. Right. So that is these two major poems written by Robert Frost. Let's start with doing a questionnaires. First one, from Dust of Snow. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Okay, this is the from Dust of Snow. All right. So the stanza it's given. The crow and the hemlock tree are considered as symbols of nature in which aspect? So I had even explained in my detailed session that crow and hemlock tree they're always compared in inauspicious and negative sense of a negative sense. Okay, in a negative sense to show sadness, despair. In that sense always crows and hemlock trees are shown, so it is negatively shown. What did the crow do to the hemlock tree? So the crow, what happened, the crow sat on the hemlock tree, it shaked, and then the dust of snow fell on the poet. What do you think the poet was then? Where do you think? So basically, poet was majorly, we can understand, from a hemlock tree it fell on him. So majorly he would be standing under the hemlock tree. Okay. Next, what is the rhyme scheme? Quite important. Let's see. Crow A, me B, then crow snow matching. So A, me tree matching. So B. So the rhyme scheme is A B A B. Alright, let's check our answers. So, here, what is the aspect? Its negative aspect. Now, what did the crow do to the hemlock tree? It shook the hemlock tree and dust of snow fell on him. Next, the poet was under the hemlock tree, as I said, and the rhyme scheme is ABAB. Alright. Now, next, from Fire and Ice. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Okay, now this is from Fire and Ice, where Robert Frost says that some people say their world will end in fire, and on the other hand, some people say it will end in ice. But poet says that what he has tasted of desire, his dreams and his entire experience, he takes in consideration the people who favor the fire. Now, who wrote these lines? As I said, it's Robert Frost, isn't it? What's the poet opinion about the world? So poet is trying to say that the world is going to end with two bad qualities. Either it will be fiery or it will be ice, right? The greediness, the warfare and everything, the avarice and all. Correct. Now, what is the contradictory opinion of public? The contradictory means opposite conditions, right? So the contradictory, as in the opposite, the opposite. What the opinion of public is that poet says that some people are telling the world will end in fire. Some say it will end in ice. So that is the opposite, contradictory opinion. Now, how are ice and fire similar to each other, though they have contradictory traits? Now, fire and ice is similar because all of them are considering the bad qualities, the greediness and all of the people. So that's why they're considered similar but in a contradictory way. So let's see our answers. So who wrote the lines? It is written by Robert Frost. According to the poet, what will happen? The world will end in fire or ice. But poet is telling that he is favoring those who are telling fire. Okay. Now, contradictory opinion is what? The public is the debate whether the world will end in fire or ice. So fire, ice are the two elements which people are telling it will end in this, half are telling it will end in ice. So we do not know which one. So that is contradictory here. How are ice and fire similar, though having contradictory traits? So both ice and fire are similar in the sense that both of them would destroy everything in the world and show the greediness. Correct. So although they are similarly showed, because either of them are going to end the world. Either of them will end the world. So that's why they have a common nature. All right. Now next. What does eyes stand for? How is it sufficient to bring destruction? Now, your students, remember, I fire eyes. It's not talking about the actual fire, that water to solid thing. Eyes, not that eyes, and not the heat fire. No, we are talking about the internal feelings about one person to another. Talking about eyes, it symbolizes hatred. As I'd even explained in my one shot videos, it shows avarice, hatred for one another. That is what eyes is depicting. Hate is very powerful as desire does. Desire, greediness, dreaming, it can consume a person very quickly. And hate, it can occur and linger in people's minds and hearts for years, and sometimes even lifetimes. Linger as in keep on going on in the mind. Okay, so hatred of one person, it may be like, some you your friend, maybe he didn't talk to you nicely. Maybe he had some more problem of his own, so he was frustrated. Now you were going nicely, and he said, I don't want to talk to you, go from here. Then you will feel such hatred for him. He will think that I'm never going to talk to him only from now onwards. So that hatred can remain in the mind of people, maybe for 1 week, maybe for years, or maybe for your whole lifetime also. So such kind of hatred would be very sufficient to even end the world. World wars, what is the reason world war? Because there is a hatred between two countries, right, or two or more countries. That's where the wars occur, isn't it? So even eyes comparing the avarice, it is also sufficient to end the world. So hatred, it can thus be very destructive and sufficient to bring destruction and end this whole world. Okay, so that is what the eyes is standing here as per Robert Frost. Now, next question from Dust of Snow. What do the crow and the hemlock tree represent in the poem? Now, crow, hemlock tree, usually poets use poems. What are they meant to give a message to them? So in poems, negative words like crow and hemlock trees, they're used as a negatively. Okay, crow, we know it's always used in a unauspicious sense. Hemlock tree is a little bit, it has a poisonous content in it. So that's why it is used as a negative impact. So in this poem also, crow, it is black, ugly, it has a very irritating voice, isn't it? And it's considered as a it's not considered as a pleasant side. It's not, if a crow is there, it's not considered, okay, wow, a crow, it's not good. Okay, and it's a symbol of bad omen as in bad luck, inauspiciousness. Okay, so crow again, it's used as with a negative impact. Talking about hemlock tree, what is the problem with hemlock tree? Now, hemlock tree has white flowers, but it is poisonous. Okay, now poison is obviously bad thing, right? It shows death. When someone instinct poison, there is death. So it shows a symbol of sorrowness and despair. So hemlock tree, although it looks very attractive, white flowers and conical shape, but it is poisonous in nature. So that's why the poet chose the crow and hemlock tree to present his sadness and his depression in the manner of a negative sense. Okay, in the manner of a negative sense, he is using this hemlock tree and the crow. All right, now it is our attitude towards a situation that makes it positive or negative. Do you agree with it? Express your views with reference to the poem Dust of Snow. So basically, what we have to do is here we have to tell that our attitude, whatever attitude we are showing towards one another, it's in our hands whether we want to make it positively or negatively. Do you agree with it? We have to express with the help of Dust of Snow poem. Now, before explaining the answer, as per my opinion, as I gave you an example, that if your friend is in some problem and then you go suddenly, okay, and you ask him something, he first thing, if he says you, no, I don't want to talk to you, go. So what you can do, if you want to make it a negative way, you will say that, yeah, I'm never going to talk to you, negative. But on the other hand, you can do positively also. What you can say that, okay, what's the problem, my friend, any problem you have, you can share it with me. So it will be more calm and positive. So whenever there is a situation, it is always and always in our hands only to decide it whether I want to make it positive or negative. So how will you frame your answer in your exam? It is true that our attitude towards a problem plays an important role in making it positive or negative. Most of the people in today's world live a stressful life. We know right now so much tension. We want money, what to do today, what we are going to do tomorrow, where should we, where can I earn more and more money. Then all everyone has many problems in their life, isn't it? But they face different types of problem every day to day. In their day to day life, every day there is a new problem, okay, or a previous problem which it continues to persist. Correct. A person can neither keep away from the problems completely nor find solutions for them easily. It's not like leave all the problems and going and going somewhere. No, you cannot leave your away with problems. You always have to, problems will always be there with you, and neither finding solutions for them is very easy. But what makes the situation worse is one's attitude towards the problem. If the problem is persisting, you are negatively acting and making the situation more worse with your attitude, getting angry, frustrated, showing that frustration on others. That will make more and more worse situation. If we are depressed, we are sad, the whole environment becomes gloomy. That's very true. Whenever you're if you're sad, gloomy, simply crying in that way, so it will be very negative, you won't even like it at all. Correct. But if we are ready to face the problem bravely and positively, it will help in solving the problem. Okay, we can easily solve the problem if we act positively. We think, okay, we have a problem, fine, we will tackle it positively. Okay, we'll tackle it with our presence of mind and bravely. So see, problem will be very easy to solve, right? Continuation. In the poem also, Dust of Snow, the poet was in a sorrowful mood. He was quite sad. Now he felt that the whole day was going to be gloomy. So he thought that my whole day is going to be gloomy only now. But what happened? When a crow came and just shook down a little bit snowflakes on him, and his bitter mood changed into an optimistic one. Optimistic as an happy one. So what happened? Was it something big? Big something came, played drums, gave him chocolate cake. Nothing happened. A simple crow went on the hemlock tree, shook down the tree, and the snow fell on him. And that just such a small thing made him so happy, isn't it? So this small regular incident just wiped away his gloominess and made him more happy and cheerful. Now, he could have become unhappy when such a thing occurred, but instead of seeing the negative aspect of the incident, he took a positive vibe from it. Thus, the poem teaches us to find happiness from small, small things and take everything very positively. So see, what he could do, he could get more frustrated. I'm so sad now. This snow fell on me. What is this? He could get more angry. But what he did, he thought that, oh, see, nature is trying to heal me. That kind of sense he took, and he took positive vibes from them. Right, and that's where the poem Dust of Snow explains us that anything happens, we should always take it in a positive way and think about it carefully. All right, now next question is from Fire Eyes. What do the metaphors of ice and fire convey to the reader? Elaborate. What is the message given by the poet? Okay, so we have to compare the metaphors of them. Ice and fire, they what are they symbolizing in their own traits, isn't it? And what is the message given? So Robert Frost, he presents the two of the darkest traits of humanity: capacity of hatred and capacity to be consumed by lust or desire. So basically, human beings, maybe they could be intelligent, they could be useful, healthy, but every human being have very darkest traits in them. The capacity of hatred also, and capacity to be consumed and being just inside of lust and desire, greediness. Now of these two, Robert Frost attributes the greater of the two evils, that is desire. Desire, which represents what? It's representing fire. So that is why Robert Frost says that I am supporting the people who are in consideration with fire. Now, in giving desire the foremost position with regard to the destruction of the world. So he says that such desire, greediness, that I want this also, that also, everything I want to become the king of the place, that will destroy the world for sure. Frost is providing a very powerful statement on the subject of greed and jealousy, saying that above all trait of humanity that is most likely to lead to its demise. So basically, greediness, jealousy. Oh, see her, she's wearing so good clothes. See him, he has so good car. Such kind of jealousy from others, greediness, that is going to end the world for sure. Now, desire, it's represented the greatest problem that attributes to the cause of war. Desire is a thing, right? In the previous time also we know that the people, the kings, they wanted to conquer the other land, right? For their own greediness they used to do the wars, isn't it? Correct. So what happened with the war? The lands get destroyed, people get killed. Correct. So what is the reason? Desire. Similarly, Frost then attributes hatred also with the same capacity to do harm. Correct. Hatred represents the eyes over here. Now, Robert Frost says that okay, I support fire, that is desire, but it's not only fire which can destroy eyes, that is the hatred and avarice, that is equally, having the same power to destroy the world. But he lessens the relative importance of hatred and still presents it as having the ability to lead to destruction of the world if it were to happen for a second time. So basically, as per his opinion, if the world would perish twice, if the world could perish twice and two times, first it would be definitely from fire, but secondly, ice would also be very sufficient to end the world. So that is what the metaphor of this poem is. Now, going towards the next chapter, the last chapter from your supplementary reader, Triumph of Surgery. Talking about Triumph of Surgery, very cute little chapter it is, isn't it? As a cute little dog that is Tricky, isn't it? So what happens in the story? Tricky gets ill because her owner, Mrs. Pumphrey, it gives her overfood. In sense of careness, she gives her overfood. He gets ill. Where does they go? They go to a vet. Correct, they go to a vet. Who is it? That is Mr. James Harriot, isn't it? They go to the vet. There he treats them, he treats him, doesn't do any surgery or anything specifically, just treats him, a regular treatment. Now, greediness shown in by the vet is whenever she used to send brandy, wines, eggs, all many things she used to do, that was not given to Tricky, but that was himself eaten by the vet himself and the other colleagues. So that's what the chapter is. But when the Tricky gets healed up, he got more ill, I mean not ill, he got more and more fine. So James Harriet called the Mrs. Pumphrey that you can come and take your dog. So that at the end it's a happy ending. Okay. So I have uploaded the videos of Tramp of Surgery also, so make sure to check it. Now let's do the questioning. What made Mrs. Pumphrey call the vet? Now, Tricky was very fat and lazy. He was looking like a bloated sausage. Okay, he was looking like a bloated uh, sausage with legs. Okay, and he just used to lay on his rug and paint. So basically, he was just no movement, nothing, just dully sitting on the, not sitting, also lying on the rug. He also refused to eat his favorite dishes. Okay, his whatever favorite dishes he used to eat, like he wanted to eat, all of those things also he did not eat. That ill he got. Now, his bouts of vomiting added to Mrs. Pumphrey's worry, and hence he decided to call Dr. James Harriot the vet. So basically, what happened, due to her overfeeding, due to Mrs. Pumphrey's overfeeding only, Tricky had become so ill. That's why he had started to vomiting also. So Mrs. Pumphrey got very worried up, and then she called James Harriet. Okay. Now, next question. How does Dr. Harriet treat Tricky? What was the entire, this question may definitely come in your exam. Why? Because that's the main triumph of surgery. What was the surgery, they will ask you, isn't it? So what things did Mr. Harriet do and make Tricky finally recovered. So basically, steps what he did, Dr. Herriot cut down Tricky's food and made him exercise. He started to give him less food. He started to give him less food and more exercise. Alright. And for the first 3 days, he was not giving any food to him. He just kept him on fluids, that is water. So what he did, for the 3 days he did not give him food. If he gave a very little food he gave, and mostly kept on giving him water and fluids, okay, and made him do exercises, because already he was so overstuffed with food. Okay, now he did not receive any medical treatment, but was kept in the company of other dogs. He did not have any surgery, cutting open the dog, operations, and not that thing, just simple, you know treatment was done. Okay, and he was kept with other such dogs also. He used to play with them, do exercises, and he was recovering quickly. Now Tricky discovered the joy of being bowled over and tramped on. Okay, that joy of running here and the tramping on things, that is the qualities of a dog, right? So that is what Tricky did. And finally he recovered from his obesity. Obesity means, fatness. He was very fat. He became very, fat and bloated, so he decreased it, and he was overjoyed also, like he was quite happy too. Okay, so that is what the surgery was. Now, excess of everything is bad. Comment in the wake of Mrs. Pumphrey's love for Tricky. Now, what happened is, this is a, what we can say, that is a quote. Everything is, every excess of everything is bad. Anything you take, whether it be, good water also. If you drink too much of water, it is bad for you. Any healthy food also, if you eat too much, that is bad. So everything, anything you take in this world, if you eat excess of it, it will be bad. So how did this affect Mrs. Pumphrey's love also? Because she was the one, she was very rich, she could afford anything. So that's why she used to overfeed the dog, that eat this also, eat that also, due to which the Tricky got ill. So now let's frame the answer. Mrs. Pumphrey, she was a rich woman and loved her dog very much. She was actually, Mrs. Pumphrey, talking about her, she was lonely. The main major thing, she was lonely. She just had a dog and she wanted to spend every money on him only. So she loved to live a comfortable and lavish life, and also wanted her dog to spend a similar one. So she was quite happy with a comfortable, lavish, rich lifestyle, and she also wanted the dog to spend like that only. She maintained a wardrobe full of fancy fur coats, dresses, beds, etc. for Tricky. He had a different bed for night, morning, day. He had supper bowl, breakfast bowl, water bowl. Everything was different for him, because it is already done by rich people. Correct. His wardrobe was full of fancy fur coats. The dog had his own wardrobe, you can understand, right? She was very rich. And that excessive love she gave. Apart from this, she used to overfeed Tricky out of her love and concern. She thought that no, he's hungry, I'll give him food. No, I guess he had walked here and a little bit, I'll give him food. So he used to overfeed, give excess food to Tricky, right? She used to serve him cod liver oil and malt between the main meals, and Horlicks after the dinner to give him strength. Cod liver oil, malt, Horlicks, these many things you give to who? A dog. Obviously, he's going to get ill, isn't it? She never realized that Tricky was a greedy dog and he would spoil his health. The dog, he was Tricky was very greedy. Whatever I'm getting, I'll keep on eating, keep on eating, keep on eating. Now he's a dog. He doesn't have that much sense. Oh, should I eat this or not? I'll get ill or not? He doesn't have that much sense. But the owner, Pumphrey, should have the sense, right? It would make him ill. So she could not even refuse to answer Tricky, drooling from cream cakes and chocolates. The Tricky loved cream cakes and chocolates. Now, whenever Tricky used to, drool, salivate for the cream cakes and chocolates, she used to think, no, oh my god, my poor dog is asking for this, and she used to feed him. So obviously it's going to worse. So that overfeeding worsened Tricky's condition. It became more, you know, worse, and this made the dog lazy. He became lazy, just sitting on one place doing nothing and panting, right? He was inactive and obese also, and he used to lie on his rug and pant all day in pain. So what happened, he she although she was very rich, but she couldn't understand that I shouldn't give him so much of food that he will become ill one day. That's why excess of everything is super bad. Okay, so that's all about our today's session, students. Thank you so much. We did most important questions which might come in your exam of all the four chapters, and I've attached the links of all the detailed video above also. All right, and you can check in my channel as well, right? Make sure to like this video, comment if you have any queries or more videos which you want, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you didn't do it till now. I'll be seeing you very soon with our more live coming sessions. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.